All right, Black Box Radio. We are back in the box. This is the second joint of March, but the corner's back. I know you guys missed the corner. Last month we did a Black BMore series, and the corner didn't come on, but that won't happen again. That may be once a year that we take off. But this is my brother. We are back on live in the box. I'm Queen. I'm a host at Black Box Radio, and we are a media platform for Black excellence. We platform Black genius. We platform Black people, and we disseminate information to the Black community. But also, our most important endeavor is to humanize our experience to other communities and people who have no clue what it is to be Black in America. And so I'm going to introduce my co-host, my brother. He is the glue to this thing. Y'all think that I make this thing go. I'm just on the back end. He brings the people. He has the relationships. He is the man. And I love this guy. Antoin, introduce yourself to the folk.
What up, Baltimore? I'm Antoin Queen, founder of Hope Baltimore, helping oppressed people excel, formerly impacted systemic justice advocate and opportunities for oppression communities. If you believe there is change, believe in yourself, come share your ideas, and let's promote change in Baltimore. As you say, I'm co-host of Black Box Radio in the community corner, for the streets, for the peoples. It's your story, your voices, your community, your power. Come join us, link in, box up.
Ooh. Listen, y'all ain't ready for that 2022 come up. You heard that, brother? He running this show. He gonna be the host. I'm gonna come in with him now. He doing big things. But, Antoine gave he put that twang on the corner. It's the counter, and the counter is back. It is an amazing space where community leaders be what they want to see, and that's community. And so tonight we have a amazing topic. We're waiting on our guests, but we can start. We have an amazing topic. What could the criminal justice system be? A 21st century criminal justice system. And Antoine, being formerly incarcerated, he knows firsthand, and that's why I have to have him here, because he can speak for the people who are out and for the people who's in. He understands that life and what it actually takes and what it makes. And so Antoine, when it comes to like the criminal justice system, because listen, it's a lot going on in Baltimore, bruh. A lot going on in Baltimore. And the violence we see, the criminal justice system is just going to get bigger and bigger unless we find a way to quell the violence. But also the system is so daunting. What do you think in this time? What could it be that it's not?
It's always been about oppression of power and money on us. And like this ain't nothing that was just created. We ain't no different from 1865 when people were let out or consequently told that they were let out of freedom. Same thing in Jamestown, Virginia in 1619, where they was lynching them and said, listen, stop lynching your people. That's your money. You kill your people, you kill your money. So they stopped killing us and hanging us. So they found a way to systemically hang us, whereas though by oppressive laws and policies that continue to convict you, reconvict you, and then over-convict you. And then generational and birth your children into a mindset of trauma with convictions. So, just today, I had an episode about a lady reached out to me and said, her son about to get out and that he's 15. She was told, I don't really deal with juveniles, and said they already said to her, I ain't trying to do right. I'm going to come home and I'm going to hustle, and I told her that, like, wow. I understand, because when I was 15, like, when there's no one around you that empowers working environment or things that you can succeed and gain, then every plug that's around you all day that's talking with you, conversating with you, and giving you ideas of how to cope with things, if that's what they're doing, then that's what's going to be your fate of what you're going to become, you know? So,
And he's 15.
yeah. And you know, and Queen, like I always say, right? The ones we need to like really be focusing and worrying about is those that's sitting on the couches and learning from social media and isolation and being afraid to communicate in things, and then the school system is not partaking and doing a part to educate properly. And you know, education is only the systemic second part of what's being taught in the household. You know, you can't like blame the teachers to raise our children. You know, they can only educate, you know, and they only have them for what, 5 to 7 hours. You know, it's 24 hours in a day. And most of the time, some youngins probably sleeping 12 hours or 13 hours of that. And then the rest is YouTube, PlayStations, and some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or
you know, you saying something. TikTok, you're right, and Snapchat and all. You're saying something. It's like we have a new movement, and technology is definitely it is an exposure. It's going to circumvent everything that we do, which we see every day. How technology is changing the way we're working, the way we're eating, the way we're educating. Technology has circumvented that, and it's going to continue to circumvent it. But on top of that, you mentioned something that I didn't even think about. Is like the young people on the couches, like they're getting predisposed to social media and these games on Xbox, them killer games. Let's talk about that. And even, you know, we had, when I was young, you know, we grew up with the beginning of the video game era, Pac-Man, and you know, we had Space Invaders, but it's not like killing people. And you know, and we loved those video games when they came out. I mean, I played them endlessly. Atari 2600, 5200, all of them. Then they came out with the mobile joints. Remember when we was young? You have them all.
I stayed in Penny Arcade.
What?
That was one of my first hustles on Gallagher and Gyrus.
There you go.
And Inferno, you know, from Infernos down Mondom, you know what I'm saying, to Metros. From Metros down to Crazy John's.
Absolutely. Crazy John's was I went down there to play Miss Pac-Man relentlessly. And I was grown. You know, so we're not talking about what social media and these games and just the young people sitting on the couch, and you know, they're sleeping, maybe have the whole day, you know, especially during the pandemic. They said they were, you know, the ones who were in between this schooling they were doing, the virtual schooling. What about that age? Like that's 16 to maybe 25 or 18 to 25. What are they doing? They're not super youth. They're not young, and they're not grown. They're right in between. You know what I'm saying? Right. That very impressionable age. Right. Go ahead.
That's that attractive mid-image reflection. You know what I'm saying? That's where you really not paying attention to yourself, but you emulating everything that you see of yourself. You know, and leads back from everything that was earlier taught into you of like, this what you're gonna be just like them. So, and then being dressing like them, you know, and one of the things that I'm really grateful for, that like I'm very different in a lot of ways from things. I have my own style, I have my own swag, you know what I'm saying? But there's no individuality no more. Everybody's the same, you know, and technology leads into that, of making everybody the same. And when you even look down at one point in time, like rotor phones and touch tone phones, you know, I say that people not even using the human capacities of like, we're only using like 3/4 a quarter of our brain anyway.
Quarter of our brain, exactly.
But then now we're not even using that. Because like people can't even remember 5 to 6 numbers, where at one point in time, regardless of what phone booth you may have stayed at, or stop that, you was able to remember a whole phone book in your head by memory.
You're right.
So
this has their phone number now.
Yeah, this has made us. This has made us disabled.
Ooh.
Made us disabled.
Mm-hmm. And if you look at the system, the way that it's perpetrated, you know, we used to maybe grow some food. You know, we're dependent on the grocery store. If it closed, we hungry. None of us know how to farm. You know, the system puts these things in place where we get so dependent on it now. So we don't. We're now dependent on Uber Eats. Let Uber Eats break down.
I ain't never ordered from that.
I ain't never used it. You know, I don't want to use nothing like that. I came home one day and somebody had a McDonald's ice cream on their step. I'm like, what the heck is going on? They putting people's ice cream out on the step. So, you know, I couldn't believe it. And I said, well, I've never ordered from some, but people are, you know, actually dependent on this stuff. You know, all of the grocery stores now brings people their food. Somebody shops your food now. So we're in a space where we're very comfortable and we continue to be comforted by the system. Mm-hmm. But is it actually comforting to us or making us, like you said, disabled?
It's making us disabled. It's crippling us. And it's the economy, capitalizing on us. Mm-hmm. You know, instead of like people getting together and say, okay, we're going to develop a whole entity of business. He got a car, you got 2 cars, he got a truck, he got this. Now let's make a way where they contract us and we deliver. You know what I'm saying? But instead, it's being delivered on them, and then they raising gas prices. You know, every time you look, they come up with something formality that deals with a legislation to change the way people live, community, and respond to it. And then watch the responses out of it. And then they come right back and make it a mandatory thing. You can't do this unless you do this. Or you can't be educated unless you have this. Unless you're being educated through Wi-Fi and technology, well, you'll need this. And one of the greatest pieces that they really tried it out on a quiet level, they first started like Jake plays and all this stuff in prison where in the feds you could have Wi-Fi, you could do electronic video and electronic lawyer conversations, you know, so they seen how it could work and then say, you know what, we can now capitalize once we create a pandemic and everybody gets sick and shut it down, transfer everything to technology where everybody got to meet on a computer. So this is going to cause computer flights to go up.
Look at that.
It's going to make Wi-Fi increase.
Exactly. They make a freaking way. They show you how it can be done, test market on you, and then something comes into play, as they would say, a COVID, and makes us utilize it and doesn't go away. And then now you got to pay for it. Now it's something, I'm telling you, it's just unbelievable.
Like, you know, like Queen, like back to your original question about the policy thing, right?
Yeah, about 21st century justice system.
One of the things that like we found out is that, you know, since 2015, you know, like when we first started, like 2014, 15, we started going to Annapolis and saying enough was enough. Our voices needed to be heard. Our faces needed to be seen, you know, and we needed to be on the floor, you know.
Okay.
But and being educated in like Nicole Hansen, Karen York, Monica Cooper, and these individuals, you know, Ray Kelly, you know, they like sat down and learned the measure of how to litigate and write policy. You know, and Karen will always say, like, we need to have Wednesdays and Fridays where we meeting every Wednesday and Friday, and we need to structurally be learning about buying the box. What cities, what states, what rules, what litigations, what companies, all this that plays a part. And out of that, we found out Baltimore 11 states in the whole United States out of 52 states honor it.
Honor what? Ban the box.
Honor ban the box.
And what is ban the box?
Ban the box is where they can't ask you anything on an interview or on an application, anything about an ex-offender charge, have you been arrested or anything. Now, don't get me wrong. All anyone needs is your name and your social security number. They can find out anything they want you because it's public information. Now, that's the catch-22. You know, but the next piece was like, Maryland don't own a ban the box, but you got companies here that's in other states that originated from out of those states that they have to honor because that's where their company come from.
That's their charter, yeah.
But because they in Maryland and Maryland don't honor it, they don't have to abide by it. So it's a should I or should I don't. Do I like him? Do I like her? Is she qualified? Does she fit what I need? And I always tell people, like, one of the things that we are the greatest potentials at being formally impacted is that we know how to sell ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We done sold ourselves for so many things through cultural relations, right? But when it comes time to like sell yourself to benefit the financial means for yourself, then that's when the ziplock come. I don't know what to say. You know, and a lot of times I'm saying these are not any different people because the people that you with every day, you get to practice these things to learn the modalities of where you in constant at, where you consistent at, what skills and traits do you have. Any person that go on a job, they know how to market, trade, produce, sell, people communications. They have any qualifications to run the whole business. But how do you get them to understand you have these qualifications? That's coming out of the darkness. Learning how to address it and learn how to do these things. So what happened was we started going to Annapolis and learning how to mingle and deal with people. And a lot of times, certain ones was like, oh, that's them from the streets. They down here. They shouldn't be down here. They would turn their nose up. But once we start being able to form allies and saying, listen, y'all came up in the same communities that we did. You just didn't make the same choices that we did. But you know the circumstances. You are a delegate. You are a city councilman. You are a community legislative person. So you represent these communities, but you ain't got nobody here representing the community though. Because you don't live in the community no more.
Yeah.
You just come through the community to show it off and like, this is what's going on. But when you coming through and showing it off, what are you really saying? Oh, this person get high, they suffering, they homeless, they broke, they get arrested. Or are you saying that like, this used to be here and this was all black owned? This used to be here and hundreds of this 3 generations of families lived in this same household that I watched when I was in this community when I was a little kid. You know, so these traits are being wiped out by redlining. These traits are being wiped out about the black butterfly. These things are being wiped out about formerly impacted communities and high crime, and saying that because the crime rate, we need to dwindle it down. And I want people to really pay attention to what's going on because they're cutting trees down and they covering grass up and they cementing it. Which means that a lot of areas that was producing with vegetation and ripe soil for vegetable and crops to grow, you know what I'm saying, now are becoming cement parks.
Yeah, they got asphalt. Wow. You know, and that's where it starts. You know, the human needs vegetation and needs, you know, a child that sees grass. They said a different of a blighted neighborhood and a neighborhood that has grass and has flowers and birds and flies and everything that vegetation brings. It's a difference in the child's motor skills and their ability to perform in school. And so we have our children walking through blight daily. You know, they walking on concrete daily. And also, how does the body develop if it never is on the ground? It never touches the earth. We got to look at all of these things that's going on around us. And you're so right. They're changing the neighborhoods. Instead of deal with the crime and not really deal with the crime, deal with the systems that make crime. Like different schools, doing things inside, giving people resources for their children, rec centers, programming in neighborhoods. Instead of you do that, you just get rid of implode the neighborhood and remove everybody. We're looking at Park Heights. We're looking at Poppleton. That's a big problem right now. And Poppleton, they're going to take these people's houses. This is a problem we see in the city. And so that now we see why the criminal justice system is swelling, because when young people look around, their neighborhoods are being taken away.
Yeah.
Real talk. And if not, then Jenny and Cam and Biff is coming through. And real talk, and buying it, and then telling you what you should do. And then you go to the neighborhood association meeting, and they done took the meeting over. You're like, who are these people? Tell you what the neighborhood should be.
Like the other day, me and my man, we was riding around. So we was over by Wilkins Avenue. So, we seen Hispanics and all that. And I was like, dang, they over here too. I said, first they was over Highland Town.
Oh, no, now they over here. They're on the west side, bro.
I go up the way to holler at a few of my little homies, slide through Bowman, Ridgewood, holler at a few people. So while I'm up on Rickety Road at Virginia, I stand up and look dead over the Garrison.
No way. You shouldn't be
able. I'm saying, like, where the hell all these families go at? Because in order to get to that, you had to cut through Buford, you had to cut through Edgemere, you had to come back to BMore. So you talking about blocks that had 30, 40 houses on both sides. Gone, right? Then in the same process, up on Pinnacle Road, I see 3 Spanish. I 3 Hispanics. So I say, yo. So I told my man, I said, yo, this crazy. It was hard and strange. Like, we had one white boy lived in our neighborhood, white boy Junior and white boy Down. You know what I'm saying? They raised birds and their mother fought and
drunk. Call them white boy June and white boy Donald. Yeah, I love it.
That was it, right? and on Pinnacle Road, you had white boy Bobby, right? But there was the only 3.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But then I look now and they everywhere up and down Park Heights, and they even try to tell me, oh, you ain't from here. What? I know cuts and curves around here that you don't even know exist. And I honestly always say, if we're not careful, they're forming policies right now to saying, what restrictions people can have upon their release. And if a family member is convicted, then they restrain you from going to live with your family, right?
You can't live with your family. Why?
That if you have a child and the mother has you on child, and she getting child support or whatever, right? That you can't come back and live with her, so they're breaking the families up.
Yeah.
So now the child grows up in something he don't understand what's going on. He mad with one of the parents because you ain't there, and the other parent mad because he feel you taking the money. So everybody's getting affected, but systemically they're creating these things to make us be at odds with each other, right?
Wait a minute. So you're saying if a mother is receiving child support from a man, and if he receives that child support and he goes to jail, the child support ends while they're in prison, incarcerated. So if they come out, if the only stable housing is with his child's mother, because I don't like the baby mother joint, with his child's mother, he cannot go reacclimate with his child and his baby mother, even though they're not together.
Yeah, because if she's receiving child support, he can't live in the property, or the child support has to end.
See, this is what I'm talking about. And so people know we don't talk about these type of systemic laws that are family blockbusters. They blow the family up.
Yeah,
And that's the same thing when I was young. With you getting welfare, your man couldn't be in the house.
exactly.
This is what's created by the system, but no one wants to talk about that. They want to talk about the child is angry, that they can't see the other parent because you systemically don't allow them to be around because
Right.
they're either on child support or on some type of social program.
Yeah.
Because social programs should still have social policy.
They was required to socially help you meet the requirements so you can be stable.
Yes. So and being stable is allowing the family to rebond in any means necessary, and not making money the precedent. So if I'm getting money from child support or I'm getting money from a social program, then erase the man. And then black people wonder why the man and the woman so angry at each other. First of all, the system is promoting this.
So now like Nicole and them fighting the women's pre-release resource bill, because we found out that over 58% of the women that's incarcerated are mothers, and they were the caretaker providers.
Yes.
So they was taking care of the home.
The primary.
Right. They was taking care of the home and providing for the child.
Sure.
And was his caretaker. So if 58% of them are gone and they're behind the door, then we're looking at the mass relation of the after effects of the 58% of children that's growing up here without their mother, then their fathers, like primarily already been incarcerated, may still be incarcerated, or suffering from some type of crutch or disease or this ailment, where his only measure to financially make money or seize money is by hustling and then using it, where he's relying on them with health care that he's not getting nothing, can't get nothing. So what happens? He wind up stuck in the street. Now it's a beef that shorty grows up under a time bomb, mad at everybody. And every adult that he sees is like they left him, abandoned it, so the hell with all y'all.
And this is what we see. And when we start peeling about the layers, that it's not people. The problem is policy. And no one wants to talk about the policy, because then you implicate all of your so-called leaders, that they sit in these rooms and make these policies that are detrimental to human growth. Yep. And they definitely affect the Black family, because we have less resources. We have less stability in this country. And so it definitely impacts us 2 and 3 times. So we have women now who go out and take care of the family, and 58% of them are behind bars. So that's 58% of our children without a maternal anything. And you might be with grandma, a great grandma, auntie, and you got some respect for them, but you miss your parent. And grandma can't handle you. Let me make you understand that grandma can only handle you but so much.
Absolutely.
Grandma's in a different stage in her life, and she don't need to have no small children. And so here we go. And then we see, why are young people violent? They've been hopeless for 10, 15 years already. Right, Twan? They ain't just get hopeless last year.
No.
This has been building up inside of them. See, now we're talking about something. Right. So a criminal justice system can't change unless we change some freaking policy.
Right. That's it. Because like when the policies change, then people can start having a measure, a way to have resources for themselves.
Sure.
And that's why we always try to learn what we know and then come back to the community and have events and then bring those network partners with us that's in these positions to do eviction lists, do expungements, to do housing vouchers applications, to do job placement certifications, to do, we working right now to trying to find direct employers that like can hire on the spot instead of going through the medium tape. But then we also saying that like we need the Urban League, we need the NAACP, because these are people that's supposed to be fighting for us that about the civil liberties of our oppressions being violated.
Exactly.
And all like 10 acts of the Bill of Rights upon us as a right pursuit of liberty and freedom has been violated, you know what I'm saying, going to continue to be violated. You know, when you look around and you see people homeless on the street, but yet you see people walking dogs with coats and tennis shoes on, there's a real issue.
Oh, you, bro.
There's a real issue.
And I see you. That's right. You see dogs with coats on.
You see people picking up their poop, but yet you got individuals that with human potential to play a part to help build economy.
Yeah,
and you will leave them homeless, but yet.
It is mind-boggling how we can invest and I hear and you know these corporate Africans, I call them, these corporate blacks, talk about dogs are beautiful, and I don't have a problem with a dog. Listen, we're not here bashing dogs and animals. What we're saying is the human is the most evolved being, and that is the most important aspect of Earth. And if you can walk by a person and pet a dog and put coats on dogs, then who are we as a people? This is what we see every day. I see it every day.
Like a value. The value and quality of human existence is lessening, just like the dollar bill across the globe.
Absolutely. And we see, humanity is definitely on an attack, but you know, humanity's always been, because we came up into a system that is amoral. And that has no love for anything but what it recognizes. You know, what you respect, you protect.
Yeah.
Right. And that's across the board. So when you look at laws, it's people who are respected, they get protected. People look at, well, why that neighborhood look like that? Because they respect those folks in that neighborhood, and they protect that. So they said, why does these neighborhoods look like that? Because they don't respect you.
Nope.
So they're not going to protect you.
Not going to protect you.
You got to do that. And then like, well, that's messed up. No, it's not messed up. They've always shown you that.
This ain't no ball bounce.
Yeah.
Ball bounce. Yeah.
This is nothing new. No. So then we got this criminal justice system that now we corralling our young people into that, right, bro?
Yeah.
And so, and when I say just you going in and going in the time that you've gone in, the time that you lost. And when you went back and forth, did you know any better? Did you say, listen, man, I got to do something better?
You know, there was some times, you know, like I was telling somebody today, right, that they said, like, after my first bit and everything happened, right, you know, and I said I went through a state where I was angry. Like, when I say, like, angry, like, it was like I went in hell and just grabbed the fire and just took it with me.
It just ate it.
Yeah, it just took it with me. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, certain things, you know, I was locked up, lost contact with certain people that meant everything to me. You know what I'm saying? My great grandfather had passed, you know what I'm saying? Certain things like that, they denied me parole the first go round, you know what I'm saying? And like, I just went bananas, you know what I'm saying? But when I came home, it wasn't in my mind like I ain't going back to prison. Like, I was like, shit, they owe me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I lost, they owe me. But in the process, no one, when I hit the streets, the first thing I got, you know what I'm saying? I got 2.5, and I had got a gun that I seen a homeboy, and he was like, yo, I ain't got no money, but I got this for you. And I was like, bet. You know, so like, these are things, but I said, like, I didn't have a circle that I had a group of guys that I could come to that basically was like such and such working. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yo, such and such died, yo. And we at war out here. Yo, such and such just caught 3 murders. And, you know, he was coming in and he was like, yo, it's nuts uptown. You know what I'm saying? I was like, bro, and I'm talking about when you behind a door and people that you walk to school with, people you jump rails with, people you did flipped on pissy mattresses and all this stuff with, ate in your grandmother's house, you ate in their mother's house. When they died, but then when certain ones survived and you seen them and whatever they was doing, You like, yo, you made it through. I ain't been out here, so this is what I need to do to make it through. You know, and like I always tell people from the door when I got released at the end of 2013, you know, I went right into a support mechanism. One of the first guys that I seen that I was tight with him in the joint, he was in the program and he was like, yo, I'm down here. They trying to get me a house, bro. Listen, after you get a job, they provide housing for you. And I was like, shit, yo, I need a house now. And he was like, nah, bro, just do the little transition house thing, go to the groups. I'll see you Tuesday, yo. Like, as soon as a job come open, if a spot come open where I'm working at, I'm going to get you up there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it was those type of things that was in place for me. So when I started going back, and then, like I told you, like, certain friends that I had a direct connection with that I was dealing with throughout my incarceration, you know, they had wound up getting locked up. And that was like an eye opener for me. It was like, whoa, hold up. That, like, I definitely, and he kept saying to me, like, bro, you remember when you met him, what he said? Like, I told Shorty, you know what I'm saying? And like, I'm glad where he at because I'm just coming back. And right now today, because what I was able to do when he came back, he seen it change me. He was like, man, I ain't doing, I'm going to get my family and get my kids. And now he done got married. You know what I'm saying? He got a little house. He, you know, he just had another child. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So these are the things that we think about and we like, yo, like it wasn't guaranteed for us to be here to make this. But now we here. And damn, we could have been doing this long ago, but we had to go through what we went through. So like the policy piece is certain legislations were always in a making plan to target a generation of people and removing certain resources and things in nature by systemic control. They knew how to exactly lynch the certain community that they wanted to lynch to make them gasp for air. And in the process, they would either run or whoever tried to hold them there, they was going to kill them. So this is what we are seeing, people lynching off their own stresses. And in the process of so much trauma, and the trauma is the rope that's dangling around their neck while they trying to gas to get away. And whoever's like in the process of them escaping to freedom,
just pull a rope.
They pulling it.
They pull a rope. And you know what? I had my first interview last week, bruh, was with a psychotherapist, Brother Dennis Arsaw Winkler. He said so many things that blew my hat off. I had to change hats. That brother came. He said that trauma usually always finds a way to be re-traumatized.
Absolutely.
So let's unpack that, because we know we're traumatic beings. We're traumatic beings. Being in this country and the amount of things that African people has went through generation after generation, and they want to belittle that as not being a big deal, but it is a big deal. And it's trauma that belies from that has come from that. And then we live now in these neighborhoods, lack of access, lack of education, lack of nutrition. I can just go on and on. Lack of. That's what Black folks deal with. Lack of. And that Trump is traumatic. And so when I look, like we're having this conversation, if we had some music here and we had something, the traumatized would come through. You know why? Because the traumatic people who are traumatized love to feel good. Mm-hmm. And part of that feel good is why drugs are so rampant.
Absolutely.
In the community, because they're hurting.
Absolutely. That was a plan too.
That's a plan too.
Yeah, that was a plan.
You know, when all you have to do is study humans, as he being a psychotherapist, you know what to put in place to control the people.
Absolutely.
Because you know what trauma does.
They tell you.
You know it. He sat and told me he studies this. So he knows what happens or what is happening or what happened.
Right.
He knows. And if he knows, what they know, what them know, the folks who have the power. And people say who them is. Whoever has the power, okay, if they're black, green, or orange, they know how to deal with traumatic people. And that is what's happening. And policy, we have to deal and delve into trauma, and we have to rebuild families and communities. Mm-hmm. This country worked when we dealt with those things, and especially families. A lot of this trauma gets delved into when grandma gives you a hug, mm-hmm. or when you can sit on mama lap, mm-hmm. or when y'all can have a cookout and everybody can love on each other.
Everybody, right?
Everybody. We gotta find a way because we are being eradicated.
Hey, Queen, you ever notice like whenever, like for instance, whenever we give when we ever give community events, right?
Exactly.
You see how the bond, the vibe, and knowing that like they in areas where most of the resource people are like, this crazy trying them pick this place. This crazy they want to do it
don't
here.
Have no cookout out here.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But after that, they like, oh my God, they were so friendly. They was this, they was that. And they opened up to them, right? Mm-hmm. And I always like the greatest place with the least appearance of evil, right? They say suspect the greatest of danger, right? And
say that again.
They say where the least appearance of evil, suspect the greatest of danger, right? So they show everything in urban communities as the most dangerous place. And they show Annapolis, City Hall, and Roland Park, and all these other places, right?
As
the least dangerous, but that's where the greatest of evil was happening at.
You better say it.
That's where the greatest evil happened at. You know, when people consort at a table to study diagrams of peoples and schools and looking at the traditions of how 83% of these saying that 83% of high school individuals reading that below the 5th grade level.
Yeah.
That's an evil plan somebody has put in place to cause a greater danger back in their household. As your man said, the psychosis of the trauma, living with the after effects of the generational trauma and dangers that been put on the family that's in the bloodline through the dreams, the daydreams, just go off and dazes and think about this, that when it come out of it, it's a lot of harm there. So people getting high to escape the reality of facing their own harm, but the thought is in them.
Yes, it's in them.
The thought, like the answer is in them, because like I honestly believe that like once we gain to really like know ourselves and study ourselves, what you're doing, I can do, because me and you are the same. You just a woman, I'm just a man. But then you got two that not studying themselves, embarking with each other and being in love and then creating something. And this turmoil now has to shape and mold that at an early age.
Yeah, and they inject trauma.
And they inject trauma, and the policymakers are sitting back and like, as he grow up, he gonna be the next one in MCIJ.
That's why they know by 3rd grade who's going to jail, because they know the numbers, they know the behavior.
Why they know?
That's why they know. Because they know that the two people got together are trauma beings, and when they produce that zygote and they produce that fetus, and there becomes that child that they have injected trauma, and if they continue to let the trauma proliferate in the neighborhood, by 3rd grade, they know who's going downtown. They know what's going down. And this is how we see the system of this justice system continue to perpetrate this evil that we don't think is evil. We think it's just bad people. Nah, there's the process is policy. Policy is the first discriminator.
Yeah.
It is the first, and then we have families broken apart. As you said, 58% of women who are in prison are the primary caretakers of their children. So now what about those children? Where they at? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows where those children are at. We just know that we're going to put justice. We got to make justice on these women because that's more important than the seed and how that builds out and what's going to happen at the other end. It's justice now. And so when I look at how do we have a 21st century justice system, we got to change policy.
Got you. We got to change. We got to change the people who are being voted in the office.
Absolutely.
We got to change the idea curriculum of the way they are grounded to be elected to be in office. You know, because certain ones have been groomed and selected to be that way.
Exactly.
You know,
I mean, we look in this city now, nothing's changing. We got black mayor, we got a black city president, city council, we got a black comptroller, we got black. Like because someone is black, that they're going to just help black people. When has that happened in the history of America?
I said this to somebody, and they said, "Twan, you crazy?" Right? One of my peoples, right? And I said, everybody who got in the office that tried to do something to help people in community,
they murdered them.
They lynched them and sent them to prison, and now they reconvicting them and showing an example that once you come out, you just like the rest of them that was on the corner selling dope. You ain't getting a job. You ain't helping you. You know what I'm saying? And I said, like, the thing is, we got to raise one up that no one knows about and dump it all into them.
We have to cultivate our leaders.
We got to cultivate them, right?
Right.
And we got to keep them protected because they can come in and be the change makers and redirect the way the system is, that a possible change can happen and lives of black communities can be back in power again in Baltimore.
Ow! Now listen, because you said something there, bro. Now, because this myth that black women are criminals, I got it because I'm a black woman. So we got to delve into that, because if you look at Baltimore City, every time you look, a black woman's being convicted who's a politician. So only black women criminals. Schaefer was not a criminal. Kurt Smoke, not a criminal. I'm saying the ones who got through. I don't know what they did or what they did. O'Malley, not a criminal. So it amazes me how every black woman that gets that pedestal mayor, now we got the state's attorney, they're going to get indicted in Baltimore City. They're going to find a way to indict them. And we think that's okay. People say, oh, they stealing money. Who in this country haven't stolen money? You get what I'm saying? So you said something, and I'm only going to piggyback on what my brother said. You said that everybody who gets into office and show some that they're going to help their community, what they do, Twan?
They lynch them.
Ow! They either kill them, like they literally did in the 60s. They literally killed you. 70s. They literally killed you. But now they convict you into their system.
Yeah,
why is it so important to put them in jail? Because they know jail is a nasty place. They made it that. So,
right.
So look, we see this every day. So then now we have our state's attorney. She on the hot seat. They're coming. And I don't know what she did and what she did, because I don't get into that politics, because politics ain't going to save Africans. We need that as a tool, but that ain't going to save us. So look at right now. They done indicted her again. She got another charge. Bro, what is going on in Baltimore? What is going on in this Baltimore?
You know, like when people like sit at a throne, right? And people start saying you're above the people who the throne makers think they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Then everyone's gonna come to get you. Like the right-hand chick that was under her, she's out to get her position.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? She pulled her in. You know what I'm saying? And now she out to get her.
Let me do some of that black girl neck.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
They come in for you.
You know, like all the things that's going on with it is all of it is politics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna keep it that way, but they're gonna show subliminal breakdowns of like the justified of like why. But people gotta understand that justice can't be seen, justice can only be heard.
Ow.
So whatever your ear hears that stimulates to like feel that is right, that's what people convict you off of. You know, it's never the evidence. It's never, you know, like it can't be seen. That's why it's blindfolded. So if we're looking at something that's blindfolded and we are people that always live by the justice of power or right about what we see and do, then we playing a different ball game because everything that's being dealt with is by the unseen hand.
Ow! Because you can't see who's coming, right?
You can't see who's coming.
Whoa. And when you can't see, all you can do is hear. And when you hear, it's filtered through the media. And what did Malcolm say? The media is the most powerful,
misinterpreted, control segment that rules the world.
How you think. I tell people all the time, you jump up and watch that news.
Rules the world.
And that news is telling you how to think. And you don't even know what's right from wrong. You believe everything you see because it's filtered in your mind every day, all day.
You know, like,
go ahead.
One of the things I looked at right now, we have like people in politics have the same behaviors that some individuals have from the streets. You have a mayor that a lady trying to question him, and he like, I'm done talking to you.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful, man.
He's running.
You know what I'm saying? He come on TV, call people coon suckers, and you will be caught, you will be tracked down. You know what I'm saying? All that's disrespectful. And they wonder why, like, things are the way yeah. Because what happens is when you start making terms like that, you make people start to say, yo, was y'all just talking to me or about me? So you know what? I'm gonna make yo come at us. So, you know, and there comes a time because Baltimore ain't big. Baltimore ain't big.
It's Baltimore.
You know, there's a times Queen, we run in the same places and be bang right there, and they like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know what I'm saying? You
get it and don't know you was getting it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you're right. If you want people to respect you, you come on TV and you disrespecting the people. And you one of them. We gotta watch what we're doing.
That's what people like tend to forget. And you know, I always tell people, like, I believe in everything that I done, did, and everything. When I got shot, it was the streets that like gave me a place when dudes and them were still on me. They got me to duck. You know what I'm saying? When I got stabbed, you know what I'm saying? It was the streets that allowed, you know what I'm saying, at the right moment, at the right time for me to save my life and get in a homeboy, like grab me and take me where I needed to be so I can be all right. You know, that the times and nights that like with my family or I couldn't get in houses because like the lifestyle I was living, I wasn't going around my family. You know what I'm saying? But like where I stayed at and where I was at in the streets, I was good.
They
you
took
know,
care of you.
it took care of me. So like, I'm gonna always fight for the rights of my guys, you know what I'm saying, and the ones who like want a shot and want to get out. Then I got a pathway for you to get out and get changed and live the things that you like never thought you could live, and then go back to policy and learn this and like this. And I demand that this need to be changed.
And
You
that's
know,
what we need.
that's what we need.
People say, what the question is, what could a 21st century justice system look like? The people who've been affected to come back, realign themselves, and make a pathway for folk who's out there skinning and grinning, criming and griming, unpacking and packing, that there's a way, and a way that you feel comfortable, because we cannot attack people. We want them to be better. We keep going on and saying what they're not instead of looking at what they are.
Yeah.
And we gotta look at, so the criminals, we today we didn't even get in the criminal justice system. And Nicole Hansen, where you at? Nicole Mundell.
Right, tied up on a policy bill.
Yeah, she's doing something, and that's okay. We're gonna get her in. We love you, Nicole. But one of the biggest things is we start this conversation, and every time one of our guests don't show up, we're gonna do a part 2. And then we're gonna do a part 3, because we're gonna keep this one going. Because the justice system needs people, right? So we find a way to circumvent them going into the justice system. Then that's what the 21st century justice system look like. Ain't nobody coming in that mug, because we are changing lives before they get there, or they're not reoffending to go back. You get what I'm saying? We gotta find a way to keep them out of that damn hole. And that's where it all starts at. I was listening to something. I'm gonna share something with you. We're gonna expound on this a little bit, and then we're gonna get out of here. I'm always scavenging. I was looking at my man Nipsey Hussle. Going too soon. I mean, they took a brilliant brother, right? This brother said when he was banging and they was looking to go, either get somebody who did something to them or go after somebody in another hood.
Yeah, they was riding. They
was on their ride. He said, when you go on the ride, you look at who you going at. You go in in someone else's neighborhood. You see a guy that's a nerd or a guy in the suit, you leave him alone. He said, but if you go in the hood and you see somebody bopping, looking just like you, got your walk, got your mannerism, that's who you shoot at. That's who you go after. He said, so imagine that you go somewhere else and look for somebody just like you to kill. That's self-hate. That's self-hate right there. Isn't that big, bro?
Absolutely. It is.
That's absolute self-hate. Well, you can go somewhere else and search for what looks like you and what functions like you and take it out.
Like, Queen, I always say this, and it was said to me that a judge said it to me, He said it, like, Antoin, you guys that sell and make communities into strips and blocks are worse than individuals who shoot families, because y'all leave an ongoing scar. Y'all attack hundreds of peoples and affect hundreds of homes at times. And when you really look at things that, like, people who like shoot guns, and I ain't saying like we drug dealing and all this is the most dangerous. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that the overall impact, when you hustling and you got hundreds of people running in an alley for hours, that's an impact of over 1,000 people in one day.
Yes, because they're families. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is why, and that's when I really woke up, and that's why they label us high-risk offenders, community threats. When they're getting out, they call back to the districts and the community saying, yeah, they just made bail, they getting released, and then the police are already on target to be like, you know what? We just saying him, he got black, we got blue on him and such, go get him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling guys, and I'm telling people this, because they just came on TV and said that they're coming up with a plan to warn communities and police districts, if you make a bail, that you're coming back and being released. So they're saying they're pre-planning an investigation to reconvict you long before you even got back there while you already on bail. So all these things are implements of ideas that work from the 90s on many of us. And subsequent fences and all this, because I always said that, like, anybody got caught with a gun, it was 5 years the first time, 10 the second time, 25 the third, right?
Right.
I ain't never known no dudes. Me, myself, and other dudes I went to prison with, they got hit for hammers. Whenever you got a hammer, you got 5 years. Regardless, I don't care about nothing else.
Just a hammer.
Just a hammer got you 5. You know what I'm saying? 44 months on the door. That's what certain tickets, but no tickets, you might do 30, you might do 39 months at the most.
But you good boy,
good boy, do everything right and don't get in no shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But you go in, but like, you know, and these are the things systemically they reinventing. They pulling them back. Like, okay, this what they did, and this how they incarcerated everybody. And it worked. So let's pull it back. You know what I'm saying? We want foot patrols. That means they're gonna bring knockers, OCD, they're gonna do want retrievals, you know what I'm saying? Want sweeps, like they doing want sweeps now. They saying that they locked 100 people up, they served 30-something wants, they found 2 guns, they found this, they did that. All these are things that Baltimore already seen before. It's just new to this generation, because this generation is not the same generation that was in the streets in the 90s. All us were in.
Yeah, they on a new suite.
We did 10 and 20.
Yeah.
Man, we on the road trying to build our lives. You know what I'm saying?
So now they on the next generation.
Yeah, they say they done. Now we're gonna go after these. So we're gonna get another 100 million off of relocking them up. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, and I'm telling, and we getting on these Zooms and we saying like these things already be implemented. This ain't nothing new. You bringing O'Malley back. So it lets us know that y'all are continuing using a perpetual system that has been used and thought of and planned of since the RICO Acts in the 1970s. You know what I'm saying? The war on crime, the wage war on crime affected communities, you know, children blighted by effective crime communities and crime affected element in educational systems and all this stuff. So like, these are the things that we're dealing with today.
And we see actual Black people, like, lock them up, throw away the key. We have no semblance of how to repair our own, because we've been so acculturated and assimilated into this society of retribution and putting people in spaces and jails and in spaces where you stunt people's growth, that we have also accepted that behavior. That behavior is barbaric. Mm-hmm. And it comes with a barbaric nature. And we see, we said, a society that is suffering will be barbaric.
It
will definitely be barbaric. And then you have these laws that come in and create barbaric cultures. And we accept that because we want to get rid of crime. But we don't understand that the crime, like you said, with the least amount of danger, is the greatest presence of evil. Yeah. The crime starts in City Hall. The crime starts in Annapolis. The crime starts at the BDC. Yeah. Listen, I'm calling y'all out. The crime starts at the city council. Am I right, Tom? That's where the crime starts. It starts with policy. And the policy trickles down on the people, and the people are suffering. They don't have any air. They're chaotic. And they display barbaric behaviors, and they go into these systems, and then you say, lock them up. It's some bull crap. I'm trying not to curse, Tron. I'm trying not to curse, but it's some bullshit. Because I really want people to see that. Listen, you are faulting people But people are only reacting to the pressure.
From the pressures that have been put on them. That's it.
And if we don't deal with the pressure, we can't change the criminal justice system. It is doing what it's supposed to do, eat you alive.
That's what it's meant to do, you know.
But we got to stop that from in communities. But they're killing our communities. What'd you say, Twan? The new grass is asphalt.
Yeah.
No, no community.
They want to slam you down, break something. You know what I'm saying? So they can disable you, break a bone, so they can get money off you for insurance and all that old shit. And then soon as it costs too much for them to take care of you in prison for you going back and forth to the hospital, they're going to let you go.
They're going to let you go, but they already disabled you.
But they already disabled you because when they put the conviction on you, give you the plea bargain, you know. And the thing is, like, this thing that people think, like, they spend this amount of time and they sue them and, like, they give them this money, but they put them on the gag orders, right? And that is a direct sign that if you was innocent, then what's the reason why you can't tell a story?
Why can't you tell a story? When someone clips your voice, that means they are the perpetrator.
Absolutely.
We don't get any of this. We're not peeling the banana, bro. We just eating it.
Absolutely.
Eating the damn skin. You got to know why things happen. Why somebody need a gag order if you didn't do nothing. If the story's clean.
And I say this all the time. There should be no amount of money that should make you silence for your own right.
Absolutely. But they put you in such a position that you don't have a choice on some of these families. And it's so unfortunate.
There's no amount of money that no one can pay me that will make me turn and keep my mouth closed to walk away about the damage that has been done upon the communities in Baltimore that I've seen. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, like, there's certain resource providers that I don't even deal with because they at the table with them. So we don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't do it.
We don't do it. But listen, this is the type of conversation we have to have. And when our guests don't show up or when something happens, then we're going to part two this one, because this is what could the 21st century justice system be? Going to have about 15 parts. Because we didn't even get into talk about prison. We talk about before you even get there.
It's going to, like, you know, like my niece, like, she loved what I do. And she wants to learn it, you know what I mean? And I told her that, like, you already know it. Just keep paying attention to what you're going through in life. You know what I'm saying? Because the one thing that, like, we really have to do, like, our grandparents and grandparents, you know, parents, they left things for us to have, you know, and through trials and struggles, certain families separated, and now it's a gap there and ain't nobody got nothing. But we got to figure out a way to leave it to the young ones.
Yes.
And raise them up to, like, this is for y'all, to make sure that this stays in the family. And, you know, like, and I'm going to tell everybody this, it's a thing. So Baltimore got a thing called community land trust, right? That the mayor's office them got millions of dollars about people to own and gain land property.
258, I'm hearing millions, bro.
And they put up $800,000 for 26 houses. But the houses are being built in Curtis Bay, Elderly, Bel Air, places that don't, like,
don't have the blight.
So I said to somebody, who owns the properties in its community land trust involved in any of the properties that's in West Baltimore? Please. See, this is a question we got to start researching and asking about, because when these people say these things, people need to be like, yo, I own a house, so I need to find out who owns the land. Because if you own the land, then the house don't matter. Because the house is on your land. So these are the things we got. So that's the thing I'm researching now.
That's
to find out how to, like, find out about this community land trust, where it came from, where it evolved. But I know it, Bernie Sanders had something to do with it in Vermont. First one worked up there, and how it is that people get a wage mortgage that's a quarter of their income, and it's a measurable weight for you to be able to pay on it and own it. And then if something happens, you can leave it to your daughter, your niece, somebody that's a blood relative. So it automatically stays in your family line. So they keeping this quiet, but I'm telling y'all, go find out about the community land trust. Go find out about that shit. So
we're going to find out what that thing is, and we're going to talk about it, because we have to leave legacies. We see, you know, I could even say where the studios is. When we moved when we came into this neighborhood to start the studio, the neighbors across the street, because see, people don't understand that white folks didn't grow up in projects. There were no projects for them. The projects was for Africans. So they grew up in houses. Mm-hmm. And so when we move and we're buying houses for $90,000, mm-hmm. the lady across the street said her father bought the house for $800. $800, bro. So now we 20, 30 years and the great grand is living in the house. You see? But the projects is imploded. See, people don't see that, is that when you put people in those type of means, they don't have nothing to give to nobody. Yep. And so they get rid of projects and then put you in another apartment, put you in another space to rent. But you got families that's 6 and 7 generations in a house that they were able to buy when you couldn't even have a piece of grass in the neighborhood. You get what I'm saying? Yep. So who bought houses for $800? When was that?
I'm with you, Mom.
When was that? When I'm coming in and spending hundreds of thousands and you paid $800. And you telling me that something's wrong with you and that you feel oppressed. Oh, you oppressed? Oh, is that right? But that tells you what America is bringing. And so this community land trust, we need to know what that is.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to know what that is, because that boy Bernie Sanders, I don't know about him.
No me. Once people put me on, I'm on.
Yeah, I know you. People don't know that this brother right here is the research king.
I'm on.
Is the research king.
If it's a plug, my man told me we was in the streets when we was young, he said, "Sure, the only thing matters is you keeping a plug so you can stay straight." He said, as long as you got a plug, then you can stay straight, because as long as you are connected to the plug, then you become a plug for somebody else. So, like I told people, like I'm gonna eat regardless. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna eat, because like I have a certain measure of lifestyle of how I live, and I like to live a certain way. So, like, yeah. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some things internally I did to myself and put myself in some positions. But like God kept me alive and brought me out of it. So now today, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let my willingness stir the wheel, so we can provide measures of ways for others to stir their wheels, and they can let their willingness stir a position picture for somebody else to stir their wheels. So
I love it.
It's just an ongoing thing. You know what I'm saying?
You shining over there. That's what I love, and that's why you my partner, because you shining. But you know, you mentioned Bernie Sanders. I had to bring him up a little. I want you to hear this. In Vermont, Black people consist of 1% of the state residents, but 10% of the incarcerated population. Since 1978, the total jail population in Vermont has increased 411%. This is your man Bernie Sanders. And see, that's what we gotta when we see these guys and they say they walk with Martin Luther King, whatever, and they put Martin's children in jail. Listen, I want you guys, we got Google. I just Googled that, but I knew that. I knew about Bernie in Vermont. Ain't nobody gonna save Africans. Listen, I'm talking to my peoples here. We got to save each other. We look at these people and this land trust. We're gonna have a show on that, because I know you're gonna research this up and we're gonna find out what that thing is. But listen, we are voting for people who are killing us. We have to cultivate our leaders. what could a 21st century justice system be? We gotta attack policy discrimination, because policy is the problem. We have to build our communities and really believe in each other, and we gotta cultivate our leaders. Don't let nobody pick who leads you. Nobody picks that. You cultivate that. You put what's in you want to lead. Just like a family. If you have children, then you put greatness in your children. You don't let nobody else do it. It's the same thing we have to do when it comes to leadership. So, Twan, you see what I'm saying, bruh?
Absolutely.
We got to reimagine this thing. That's
Absolutely.
what Erica said. And my girl Erica, we got to reimagine the impossible.
Ain't nothing impossible, man.
Ain't nothing impossible.
Everything is reachable. It's just willing. Are you willing to reach what is attainable? That's it.
You better know it. You better know it. Nicole Mundell, we love you, sis. Even though you didn't show up, I know you blowing up something right now, because I know you are a killer out here in these streets. So we love Nicole Mundell, for the executive director of Out for Justice. We will have her at some time. Listen, this has been the cone is back, and we're talking about things that affect people who sometimes can't fight for themselves. Then we're gonna be the voice. We're gonna research up. We're gonna stand up, and then we're gonna celebrate our own people. What you say, Twan?
Community's the voice, community's the power.
That's what it's all about. We came from the community, and that's what we be, the community. I'm Queen from Black Box Radio. Twan, where you from, bruh? Talk to him.
Box up, Hope Baltimore.
Box up. We deuces and we box up and out.
Community corner.
Ow! We gone. Love you guys. Peace.